After 4 years of marriage, my wife, Isabella, finally got pregnant, and I was ecstatic. She's always been delicate and isn't one for exercise, so when I found out she was expecting, I became incredibly careful, treating her with the utmost care and affection. But she still had a miscarriage. I was in the middle of apologizing to her, telling her I was sorry for not taking better care of her. Meanwhile, she posted on Facebook, "Nathan, don't worry. I won't keep a child that isn't yours." The moment I saw that, the blood in my veins ran cold. Just as everyone was waiting to see how I, the actual husband, would react, I calmly commented, "You already got rid of the baby for him. Wouldn't it be wrong not to divorce me and marry him?" After posting my comment, I called a few friends and headed to a bar for a drink. While we were drinking, my phone started ringing. I glanced at the caller ID. It was Isabella. Without a second thought, I hit decline, but she immediately started bombarding me with calls. One of my buddies next to me asked awkwardly, "Hey, is that your wife calling?" "My wife." "Not for much longer," I said. I answered the phone right there in front of everyone. Before I could even say a word, Isabella's furious shouting came through the speaker. "Davis Anderson, where the hell are you? Why won't you answer my calls? Why is it so loud over there? Are you messing around at some bar again? What kind of man are you? I just had a miscarriage." I cut her off. "You had a miscarriage. Shouldn't you be happy about that?" She was stunned into silence for a moment. "What are you talking about? You better explain yourself." "There's nothing to explain, Isabella. Let's get a divorce." With that, I hung up. For years, I had suppressed who I was just to maintain the good husband image Isabella demanded. I gave up almost everything I enjoyed. I used to have a drink now and then to unwind, but after we got married, I quit smoking and drinking entirely. She didn't let me playing video games, so I quit those too. Then, without my permission, she sold the high-end gaming PC I had spent so much time and effort building just to buy herself a designer handbag. She even had the nerve to show it off to me, saying, "Davis, look at my new bag. Isn't it so much nicer than that stupid computer?" I can honestly say that in my time with Isabella, I never did her wrong. We were together for 3 years before getting married for 4, and I took meticulous care of her. She didn't want to work, so I gave her my entire paycheck and told her I'd support her. In the dead of winter, she'd call me at 2 or 3 in the morning complaining about cramps, and I'd get out of bed without a word, make her a hot drink, and drive it over through the snow. When her mother needed surgery, I was there for the whole thing, paying for it and helping out. Isabella never lifted a finger around the house, but even with my busy schedule, I always made time to cook special meals for her mom while she was recovering. I gave her everything, thinking that even a heart of ice would eventually melt, but she never seemed to change. I knew that before me. She had a first love she'd been with for years. He eventually went abroad for school, and they lost touch. For 7 years, I gave her my salary and dedicated myself completely to her and her family. But none of that mattered when her first love sent a single message. "Isabella, I'm back." He sent one simple message, and she threw everything away for him. Did she really just get rid of our baby to welcome her precious first love back home? I had barely hung up before my phone rang again. It was Isabella. I didn't answer. I just turned my phone off completely. My friends stared at me in shock. "Davis, are you serious about this?" "Yeah, I'm serious." I knew why they were so surprised. In the past, whenever Isabella called, I'd drop everything and rush home like an obedient dog. I picked up my glass and downed it in one go. I've had enough. In these last 7 years with Isabella, I had completely lost myself. For 7 years, my life revolved around her. I turned down so many amazing job opportunities just to stay in Denver for her. Looking back on it now, it's just pathetic. After a few more drinks, I went home and passed out on the couch. The next morning, I was woken up by a furious pounding on the door. The banging was relentless. I stumbled to the door and opened it. 2 people immediately stormed in. Before my head had even cleared from the alcohol, they started yelling at me instantly. "Davis Anderson, I entrusted my precious daughter to you, and this is how you take care of her. You knew she was fragile, but you still made her do housework. Well, now the baby's gone. I hope you're happy." Isabella's mother, Mrs. Miller, stood with her hands on her hips, berating me. My daughter is lying in a hospital bed, and I hear you were out partying last night. Look at you, you stink of booze. You have no shame. I couldn't be bothered to argue. The one who should be happy isn't me, I said. It's her and her wonderful first love, Nathan Reed. I left them with that and walked out, heading for the hospital. The two of them hurried after me. I got to the hospital first with them right on my heels. When I entered the room, I saw Isabella lying in bed, her face pale. The second she saw me, her expression soured, and I knew she was about to throw one of her princess fits. I spoke first. All right, that's enough. Why isn't Nathan here to see you? What are you talking about? You got rid of the baby for him, and he can't even be bothered to visit. What a coward. He has zero sense of responsibility, I said with a cold laugh. I knew Nathan was a player who was never short on female company. Isabella's grand gesture was probably all in her head. You, Davis, you know that Facebook post was a joke. Are you just saying these things to upset me? Won't you be happy until you've driven me to my grave? She stared at me with icy eyes. I lost my baby. Do you really think I'm not heartbroken? I looked at her phony act. I don't know if you're heartbroken or not, but I wonder, is Nathan heartbroken? Just then, the door to the room flew open, and Isabella's parents rushed in. What are you just standing there for? Go pay for Isabella's hospital bills for the miscarriage procedure, her father demanded. And you'd better hire a private nurse to look after her properly. Go buy some expensive supplements for her recovery, too. What kind of supplements? I asked. Oh, you know, the fancy imported stuff. Just get whatever's most expensive, her mother said in that commanding tone of hers. I laughed coldly. Let Nathan buy them. What did you just say? She got rid of the baby for Nathan. You should be the one buying her recovery supplements. I paused. And he can pay the hospital bills, too. Go ask him. Hearing this, Isabella's parents' faces flushed with anger. Are you even human, saying things like that? Am I not human? Is what your daughter did human? Getting rid of her own child for another man? Is this the wonderful daughter you raised? I shot back. Isabella's mother jumped up and started screaming at me. Davis Anderson, you son of a bitch. My wonderful daughter married you, and this is how you treat her. You're a monster. Her shouting was so loud that it quickly drew a crowd of people in the hallway. After hearing her side of the story, the onlookers started pointing at me and muttering, Young man, your wife just had a miscarriage. It's wrong to treat her like this. You should be taking care of her. You'll pay for this one day. I looked around at the crowd. If your wife deliberately got rid of your child for another man, would you still be standing here on your moral high horse, judging me? Hearing that, their expressions shifted, replaced by looks of disbelief. Seeing the tide turn, Isabella's mother quickly changed her tactic. Even if Isabella did get rid of the baby, aren't you at all responsible? Why don't you look at yourself? Maybe if you were a better husband and didn't make my daughter so unhappy, she wouldn't have done it. Are you completely blameless in this? I could only laugh to myself at the absurdity. Isabella was still playing the victim, her eyes welling up with tears. Davis, you promised you'd love me forever. Is this how you treat me now? Oh, and how should I be treating you? I'm done talking. Let's just find a time to get this divorce over with. I looked at her, my face devoid of emotion. It's perfect timing, actually. Your precious first love, Nathan, is back. Once you're divorced from me, you can marry him. I said my piece and turned to leave the room. I heard Isabella's voice behind me. Davis Anderson, fine. Let's get a divorce. I'll be much better off without you. That's right, her mother added. My daughter is gorgeous. After she divorces you, she'll find someone rich and handsome in no time. After leaving the hospital, I went straight home and made a call without hesitation. It was answered almost immediately. A cheerful voice came through the line. Well, have you had a change of heart? Finally ready to consider my offer. I've thought it over, I said. Is that position still open? The person on the phone was a former colleague, someone I had mentored named Chloe Johnson. After graduating, she worked under me for 2 years before moving on to a Fortune 500 company. She was thriving there and always credited me with teaching her everything she knew. Now, she held a senior position. For the past few months, she'd been trying to recruit me, saying her company was expanding and needed someone experienced and capable to lead a new team and break into a new market. The salary and benefits they were offering were several times what I was currently making. Chloe told me she had already recommended me, and the company was very impressed with my qualifications. I graduated from a top university and have a very strong resume and years of experience. But back then, I was always thinking about Isabella. She was trying to get pregnant, and I couldn't just abandon her to go work in another city, so I had politely turned Chloe down every time. I could tell from her tone that she was a little surprised to be hearing from me. Now, boss, I'm telling you, they still haven't found the right person for this role. If you're serious, I can get you an internal referral and set up an online interview. When are you free? The sooner, the better. How about tomorrow? I'll get my resume ready tonight, I said. Chloe is sharp, and she seemed to pick up on something in my voice. Boss, did something happen? Are you in trouble with money? I can lend you some if you need it. It's not about the money, I said, not wanting to get into the messy details of my life. I just need a change of scenery. I've been at my current company ever since I graduated, working my way up from an entry-level position to team lead, and now I'm a department head. It wasn't an easy climb, but I earned every step of it. Okay, that works, she said. You get your resume ready tonight, and I'll have someone schedule the online interview for you right away. Even though Chloe was a manager now, she still spoke to me with that same energetic, youthful tone she always had. I smiled. Okay, thanks a lot, boss. You don't ever have to thank me, Chloe said. After we hung up, I splashed some cold water on my face to clear my head. I took a quick shower and then got to work on my resume. Even with all my experience, this was for a Fortune 500 company, so I took my time to make sure it was perfect. I spent a good 5 or 6 hours polishing it. I didn't waste any time and sent it over to Chloe right away. She messaged back that she'd received it and would let me know as soon as the interview was scheduled. I let out a huge sigh of relief. Great. It was already late afternoon. I stood up to stretch and happened to glance at the closet, which was overflowing with Isabella's clothes. She was always telling me how a woman can never have too many clothes. Every closet in the house, from the master bedroom to the guest rooms, was packed full of her things. In 7 years together, I gave her almost every dollar I earned, and in the end, we had absolutely nothing saved. One time, for my parents' anniversary, I asked her for some money to buy them a gift. After a lot of pleading, she finally pulled out $200 and tossed it at me. She told me to be frugal, saying my parents were old and didn't need anything expensive. But when it was her parents' birthdays, she had me booking fancy restaurants, buying huge cakes, and taking them out to buy expensive jewelry. Thinking about it all just made me feel like I had failed my own parents completely. Her treatment of me was just as bad. I remember once I had a terrible flu and wanted to go to urgent care, but she told me to man up, that it was just a little cold and I should just take some pills. She dug through a drawer and gave me a box of expired cold medicine. I took it and felt so sick the next day I could barely get out of bed. Yet for Nathan's birthday, she had no problem spending a fortune on a gift for him. Thinking about all of it just made me feel like a fool. Just then, my phone rang again. I saw it was Isabella. I hesitated for a second before answering. Her voice came on the line. Davis, okay, so maybe I was wrong about this. But are you telling me you're completely blameless? What did I do wrong? I asked. For years, I had practically spoon-fed her. I don't care what you did wrong. I'm admitting I was wrong, so I'm giving you an out. You should take it. I laughed coldly to myself. In the past, all it took was one small kindness from her, and I would have given her the world. Now she thinks that saying, maybe I was wrong, counts as a genuine apology. I'm not wasting any more time on this. I'll see you at the courthouse tomorrow morning to file the papers. Isabella was furious. I already said I was wrong. Why can't you just let it go? For God's sake, can't you be the bigger person for once? Why don't you ask Nathan to be the bigger person for you? You are unbelievable. Fine. Tomorrow morning. Whoever doesn't show up at the courthouse is a coward, she yelled before slamming the phone down. I just scoffed and ignored her, focusing on what I needed to do. I started packing up my things, going through the house to gather my belongings. I quickly realized that in our entire 1,500 square foot house, the only things that were truly mine were my work laptop and a few changes of clothes. Everything else was Isabella's. Her vanity was covered in dozens of designer lipsticks. There were also all kinds of expensive makeup and a collection of luxury handbags. It seemed that in all our years together, she never learned the concept of saving money. My paycheck was usually gone as soon as it came in. It was only then that I truly realized Isabella had never intended to build a real life with me. Around 7 o'clock that evening, I got a call from Chloe. "Boss, the company loved your resume. Are you free for an interview tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon?" "I'm free." "Great, then we'll schedule it for 2:30 tomorrow." "Sounds good," I agreed. The timing was perfect. Divorce in the morning, interview in the afternoon. If I got the job, I could be out of this city and starting a new life in a matter of days. Around 8 or 9 that night, I was making myself a quick dinner when a friend sent me a video. It showed Nathan with his arms around two tall, beautiful women, looking very cozy with both of them. Then, as the camera panned, I saw another familiar figure. I was a little surprised because the figure was none other than Isabella. She had just gotten rid of a baby, and Nathan was already throwing a party. Even as sick as she must have been, she still dragged herself there. From the looks of the video, she was being completely ignored, sitting by herself looking miserable while Nathan paid her no attention at all. My friend texted me, "Hey, your wife's here. Where are you?" I replied, "Oh, she's not going to be my wife for much longer." I found the whole thing laughable. Isabella had thrown herself at him, and he clearly didn't want her. She got rid of a baby to prove her loyalty, and Nathan couldn't have been less interested. She must have thought her looks were enough, but in Nathan's eyes, she was probably nothing. After all, the two women he had his arms around were way out of her league in every department. Around 11 that night, I got another call from my friend. "Davis, your wife drank way too much. She started bleeding heavily, and they took her to the hospital. You need to get over here." I frowned. "That's not my problem. The doctors say it's serious. Whatever is going on between you two, you should still come," he urged. I sighed, but I got up and headed to the hospital. When I arrived, my friend met me and told me Isabella was in the ER being treated. I just said, "Okay," feeling no particular emotion. I walked over to the emergency area and saw Isabella lying on a gurney, her face as white as a sheet. She looked terrible. Standing next to her was a man in an unbuttoned shirt and slacks, trying to look cool and unbothered. A scantily clad woman stood beside him. "Nathan, please don't go," I heard Isabella say in a weak voice as I got closer. "Stay with me. I'm scared to be here alone." She hadn't even noticed I was there. Her focus was entirely on Nathan. Nathan, however, shot her a look of pure disgust before turning his attention to me. "Davis Anderson, can't you control your own wife? She just had the procedure, and you're letting her go out drinking." I stared at Nathan. "Oh, but didn't she get rid of the baby for you? This is your chance. You should be the one taking care of her. Are you crazy? Why would she do that for me?" "This has nothing to do with me," Nathan said with revulsion, desperate to wash his hands of the situation. Just then, an ER doctor rushed over. "Who's her next of kin? We need payment authorization now. She's lost a lot of blood and needs a transfusion. Any delay could be critical." I glanced at Nathan, who immediately pointed a finger at me. He's her husband. This has absolutely nothing to do with me." "Nathan," Isabella cried out from the gurney, tears streaming down her face. "Don't say my name. Your problems are not my problems." "I have to go," Nathan said, taking the other woman by the arm and starting to walk away. I looked at him. "Wait." Nathan eyed me defensively. "What? Is there something else?" "Oh, nothing," I said, then stepped forward and punched him square in the jaw. That punch wasn't for Isabella, of course. It was for me. Nathan tried to fight back, but he was no match for me. I had him pinned in seconds. My friends had to pull me off him. As he stumbled away, Nathan yelled back, "You're both pathetic. You deserve each other." After they left, things finally quieted down. The doctor walked over to me, frowning. "Your wife just had a major medical procedure, and you let her go out drinking? What kind of husband are you?" "She went drinking for another man. She had the procedure for another man. It has nothing to do with me," I said calmly. The doctor just stood there, stunned into silence for a few moments, clearly at a loss for words. I walked over to the gurney. Isabella was still crying. "Davis, Nathan is a monster. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. I'll never be unfaithful again." So you admit you were unfaithful? I asked. It was my fault this time, she pleaded. Once I recover, I can get pregnant again. I promise I'll give you a child. Our child. I was so stunned, I didn't even know how to respond. I just took out my phone and called her parents, telling them to come pay the ER bill for their precious daughter. Then I turned around and walked out of the hospital without another word. I knew with her condition, Isabella wouldn't be showing up at the courthouse the next day, so I focused on preparing for my interview. Her parents called me a few times during the day. I didn't answer. I knew exactly why they were calling. They just wanted to blame me for everything. I blocked both of their numbers. Then I left my apartment and went to a friend's place. I was worried they might show up and cause a scene during my interview. 2:30 in the afternoon arrived quickly, and it was time for my interview. There were 3 interviewers, all senior executives. They asked some tough, in-depth questions, but I handled every one of them with confidence. When the interview was over, they told me they were very impressed with my performance. They offered me the job on the spot and asked how soon I could start. I told them I needed a month to wrap things up in Denver, but I could start immediately after that. The company has a huge presence, and right after I accepted, they asked for a headshot and posted an official announcement about me joining their team on social media. Suddenly, all my friends and family knew I was moving to Chicago for this new job, and the congratulatory messages started pouring in. My friends were all thrilled for me, saying this was the start of a new chapter in my life. I was grateful for their support. But of course, the person I was most grateful to was Chloe. She was the one who made this opportunity possible. The first thing I did after getting the offer was call Chloe to thank her. She said, "Boss, saying thank you is nice, but how about you show me? I'm actually on vacation and was thinking of flying back home for a bit. You can treat me to a nice dinner." Yeah, okay, I agreed instantly. A couple of days later, I had a lawyer draft a divorce agreement and went to the hospital to see Isabella. Her parents were there with her. I had blocked their numbers and hadn't been in contact for days. The moment I walked into the room, Isabella burst into tears. "Davis, where have you been? You wouldn't answer your phone. You weren't at home. I was so scared you had abandoned me completely." She put on this pitiful, wronged expression, as if I were the one who had done something terrible to her. She looked exhausted and frail, and for a moment, she almost looked sympathetic. But I knew better. She was far from innocent. Her father, Mr. Miller, quickly chimed in. "Isabella, don't be upset with Davis. He was obviously busy with interviews. He's a senior executive at a Fortune 500 company now. From now on, you're going to have a wonderful life," her mother added. "That's right, Isabella. From now on, you need to be a good, supportive wife. Take care of everything at home so Davis can focus on his career without any worries." The two of them had done a complete 180 in their attitude towards me. Instead of screaming at me, they were suddenly kind and understanding. Isabella then said, "Davis, don't worry. From now on, I'll stay home and be a good wife. We'll have a wonderful life together." "Oh, there's no need for that," I said coldly, pulling out a document. "This is a divorce agreement I had my lawyer draft. Take a look, and if there are no issues, you can sign it." My words hung in the air, and all 3 of them stared at me, stunned, their gazes fixed on me. When they finally snapped out of it, Isabella's parents immediately turned nasty. They called me a heartless scoundrel, accusing me of dumping my wife now that I was successful. They threw every insult they could think of at me, but by that point, I didn't care what they said. I left the agreement on the table. "Sign it as soon as you can. We'll split the house and assets 50-50. I'm not trying to cheat you. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving." "Davis, wait." Isabella's voice called after me. "I know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance. I'll never do it again." But I didn't slow down or even hesitate. I left the hospital and drove to the airport to pick up Chloe. She walked out of the terminal pushing a suitcase, and I hurried over to take it from her. She gave me a playful smile, and she seemed to radiate a kind of bright energy. She was tall with a great figure, fair skin, and a beautiful face. "Mr. Anderson, thank you so much for coming all this way to pick me up," she teased. I rolled my eyes at her. "Since when are we so formal?" She just laughed. I drove her to the hotel I had booked for her, and on the way, she suddenly said, Boss, I heard you're getting a divorce. Yeah, I confirmed. It's time to end that relationship. Is there anything I can do to help? I can handle it, I said. Chloe didn't press the issue. For the next couple of days, I showed her around the tourist spots in Denver. She even insisted on visiting my parents and brought them a ton of gifts. My parents were delighted to meet her and told her, "Dear, next time you visit, please just bring yourself. Don't waste your money on us." I realized that Chloe had spent more on my parents in that one visit than Isabella had in our entire 7 years together. It just reinforced what a selfish person Isabella really was. Chloe just smiled and said, "Davis is my mentor, and you're his parents. It's my pleasure to show my respect." Her words made my parents beam. I hadn't seen them that happy in a very long time. After we left my parents' place, I asked Chloe where she wanted to go next. "I think I've seen enough of the sights," she said. "But you know what I haven't had in a long time? A home-cooked meal from my favorite chef. How about you cook something for me?" I agreed immediately. Figuring Isabella was probably still at the hospital, I took Chloe back to my apartment. But as soon as I opened the door, I was hit by the smell of food cooking. Chloe was stunned for a second. "Boss, is someone here?" "I have no idea," I said. Just then, a voice called out from the kitchen, "Davis, you're home." I saw Isabella walk out of the kitchen wearing an apron. Her face was still pale. She clearly hadn't recovered yet. I couldn't believe she had checked herself out of the hospital and was now pretending to be a dutiful wife, cooking in my kitchen. "Davis, I made your favorite dishes." Her words trailed off as her eyes landed on me, and then on Chloe standing beside me. The moment she saw Chloe, her face froze. Isabella and Chloe knew each other from my old job. Chloe recovered quickly. Isabella, long time no see. Looking at the two of them side by side, the contrast was stark. Chloe was like a graceful swan, while Isabella looked like a pathetic, bedraggled duckling. Isabella snapped out of it. "Chloe, when did you get here?" Chloe glanced at me. I ignored the question and turned to Isabella. "What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in the hospital?" "I wanted to make you some of your favorite food," she said. I just stared at her. I had a laugh to myself. My favorite food? In 7 years of marriage, had she ever once set foot in the kitchen? She had no idea what I liked to eat. I was always the one who cooked, and I always made what she wanted to eat. Just then, Isabella's parents also emerged from the kitchen, beaming. The smiles on their faces vanished the instant they saw me standing there with Chloe. I knew this whole charade must have been her parents' idea. They actually thought this would be enough to win me back. What they didn't understand was that my heart had turned to stone the moment I saw that Facebook post. The moment I realized she'd gotten rid of our child, 7 years of love had evaporated in an instant. And now here they were, putting on this ridiculous play for me. It was pathetic. "Davis, Isabella insisted on leaving the hospital to cook for you. We couldn't stop her," her mother said. "She just loves you so much. She wants to get used to cooking for you before she follows you to your new job." I looked at them. "Your daughter was in critical condition, and you let her check out a cook for me? You two are really parents of the year." Chloe was standing there awkwardly. "Boss, maybe I should go." I nodded. I didn't want her to get dragged into my family drama and ruin her trip. After Chloe left, Isabella started again. "Davis, this was my idea, not my parents'. I've already decided. When you move to Chicago for work, I'm coming with you. I'll do all the shopping and cooking. All you have to do is focus on your job. And then I'll give you 2 more children, a boy and a girl, and we'll be a happy family." Her mother immediately chimed in, "Yes, a boy and a girl. That would be perfect." Her father added, "Davis, all couples have their disagreements. The important thing is to resolve them quickly and not let things fester. The two of you living a happy life together is what matters most." I just listened to their shameless, self-serving speeches. I sat down and looked at Isabella. "Let's stop with these useless games. You know exactly how you've treated me and my parents for the last 7 years. Why don't we use this time to negotiate the terms of our divorce? If you make me a good offer, maybe I'll agree to it." As soon as I said that, the fake smiles on their faces froze. Isabella's true colors came out immediately. "Davis Anderson, I'm trying my best to change for you, and you reject me? Fine, you want to talk terms? We're not even divorced yet, and you're already messing around with Chloe Johnson. I'd say that counts as adultery, wouldn't you?" Do you have any proof? I asked, trying to keep my cool. That shut her up. It doesn't matter if there's proof or not, her mother interjected. You did it, and that makes you a cheater. If you want to divorce my daughter, she gets the house. Otherwise, we'll make your life a living hell. The whole family had finally dropped the act and shown their true colors. I wasn't going to play their game. Fine, let's take it to court. We'll see whose evidence the judge finds more compelling. I then forwarded her parents the video of Isabella at the party with Nathan, drinking just hours after a procedure. I also had other evidence of her intimate relationship with him. It was more than enough to prove that Isabella was at fault and that our marriage was irretrievably broken. And on top of that, she had gotten rid of my child. I had proof of that too. I had found the pills she used. I laid all the evidence out in front of them, and just like that, all the fight went out of them. I didn't waste any more words. If you sign the agreement now, you can still have half the value of the house. Otherwise, you can take your chances in court. I took a deep breath and waited. They were silent for a long moment. Finally, her mother said, Isabella, maybe you should just sign it. You'll get half the house, and with your looks, you can find someone better. It's not impossible. Yes, just sign it, her father agreed. Isabella always did what her parents told her to do. After a moment of hesitation, she signed the papers. I took the signed agreement and let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. That awful, painful marriage was finally over. Taking it to court would have dragged on for months, and I didn't have the time or energy for that fight. This was the best possible outcome. After the divorce was finalized, I quickly found a real estate agent, sold the house, and we split the money. I packed up my few belongings and went to visit my parents. I gave them my half of the money from the sale. The very next day, I flew to Chicago, completed my new hire paperwork, and found an apartment. Chloe made a special trip over to celebrate with me, and I cooked her a nice dinner. She couldn't stop telling me how good it was. She said I was an amazing cook. At the new company, I led my team with everything I had. We quickly established a foothold in the Midwest market. Within 3 years, our products had captured over 70% of the market share in the region. At the celebration party, I was promoted to vice president for my outstanding performance, which came with a substantial bonus and commission. Everyone asked me to say a few words, and the first person I thanked was Chloe. For the 3 years I've been grinding away at work, Chloe had been my rock. She always remembered to send my parents gifts, and one time when my dad fell and hurt his leg, I was too swamped to get away. Chloe took time off work to go and take care of him for me. I was incredibly grateful to her for that. As I expressed my thanks, a smile spread across Chloe's face. Then, right there in front of everyone, I told her how I felt about her. The whole room started cheering. A blush crept up her cheeks, and finally, she said yes. I bought a house in Chicago and put it only in her name, wanting to give her a sense of security, but she insisted on adding my name to the deed. She told me that security should go both ways. After he settled down, Chloe got pregnant, and we had a beautiful baby. I brought my parents to Chicago to visit and help out with their new grandchild. They were overjoyed. Chloe and I had finally found our happy life together. Much later, I heard from a friend back in Denver that after Isabella got her money from the house sale, she went right back to Nathan. They were together for a little while, but he'd dump her as soon as he had spent all her money. Apparently, her life was a complete mess now. When I heard the news, I felt nothing at all. After all, she had made her own choices.